Hello everybody, and welcome back to An Art Life Worth Living. In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys how I draw bodies, and there will be an art challenge for you guys to participate in and improve your body skills as well, so stick around for that. But let's talk about creating a foundation. The foundation I like to use when I draw the body is a mixture of blocking in and using like the stick figure. I always start with the head, as you can see, nothing ever new, but after the head, I start mapping out the hips and the chest. I feel that this is the most important part of the drawing because honestly, taking this extra 3 to 5 minutes to just set up what the pose is generally supposed to look like, it helps get a feel for what I'm seeing in my head or my idea, and then seeing what I have on the paper. It allows me to make sure that what I am envisioning for my piece of art is actually going to happen and I don't get disappointed. I use this upside down gumdrop shape for the chest, and then I use an underwear triangle shape for the hips. This allows me to make sure that the general body is angled in the right direction and that it's going to have the fluidity that I'd like. Overall, just to make sure the pose looks correct. So I try to block out as much of the body. That way it's kind of just connecting the two lines, if that makes sense. After I get the hips and the chest mapped out, I actually quickly map out the legs and arms. The foundation of the arms and legs are quickly just stick figures, let's be honest. I just draw straight lines for the general direction of the arm, but I try not to use like pin straight. I try to add a little curve so it looks more natural, and then I use little circles to indicate where the joint's going to be. I know, so fancy, you guys. This is the foundation that I use when I draw bodies. It's pretty simple. There are some other versions like using cubes or cylinders to map out the body, sort of like drawing in a drawing man. No, not a drawing man, like a mannequin. Yeah, a mannequin, you know, those awful things that we all have bought. And then we realize it's the absolutely worst thing to use for drawing as a reference. Like, I'll pop up a picture, but yeah, so these are also amazing ways to draw the body. I really encourage you guys to read some books or study the muscles of the body. Doesn't have to be anything college level, but I have taken a few body anatomy classes, so it helps knowing the basics of the large muscle groups, so it's easier to do the next part of the drawing, which is drawing out the body or creating the body. This is probably the easiest part. Once you've gotten your foundation down, this is probably the easiest part of learning how to draw bodies, simply because you already set up the frame for drawing the body on top of. Now all you gotta do really is just fill in the gaps. So the body is fairly simple since you're really just, again, connecting the chest to the hips. That's why I take the most time in blocking out those shapes, so I can make sure they look right before I get to like a stick figure line and like trying to map everything together. Now, the legs and the arms and the hands will be the more difficult part, I'd say. How I explain drawing the limbs is I look at the arms and legs like an elongated almond for the upper parts of the limbs and a drumstick for the lower part of the limbs. And at the point that the almond and the drumstick connect, they kind of act like anchor points. And simplifying the shapes to this point makes it very easy for me to get the basics of the body. And I also, on my next drawing, you'll see I experimented with the size of those things, so it's easy to scale them up or scale them down without losing the basic shape of the body. So in this video, I really drew different body shapes just so you guys could see that this works in many ways. I tried to do very skinny, some curvy, some voluptuous. I did a little bit of everything. After I finish doing the arms and legs, I kind of just block out the basic shapes of a hand. I use a triangle-like shape thing for the feet, and I use my hand technique that I talk about in my how to draw a hand video. I'll definitely link it in the card for anyone who wants a further in-depth explanation of how I draw hands. So after this, you have the basics for the body. Now all you gotta do is put the clothes on top and your drawing is done. In total, this first drawing took me about about 30 minutes. And that's fairly good for me because I struggle with drawing bodies, but I've been really practicing lately because I'm trying to get better with my new art goals. But this leads me to your guys' art challenge or art project for this week. I want you guys to find 5 body pose references that you are not comfortable with. I'll link my Pinterest down below as I have a female anatomy board that has some difficult but not like crazy difficult poses that you guys can use and reference from as well. This week's art challenge is to focus more on the framework of the body. I don't want you to look at a reference and try to immediately draw the whole body without setting up the reference. I want you to look for shapes and hints that make it easier for you to set up the frame. You don't have to use exactly what I use. You guys can deviate to whatever makes sense to you as well. So once you have that down, just the frame, I want you to try to look at that reference as little as possible. I want you to really think about why you're drawing or putting that line down for the arm. Like, you have your frame, try to do it, and if you're struggling a bit, glance back at your reference. So the challenge overall, on top of the rules of the challenge, is you have to draw 5 different poses. I want you to do it 5 times. And I'm also giving you a time frame for each of these drawings. So your first pose is going to be 50 minutes, your second is 40, your third is 30, your fourth is 20, and your 5th pose is going to be 10 minutes. The reason why I'm giving you guys a larger time frame to a decently sized time frame is because I want you to focus on the more general shapes and use the hashtag #RubyBody challenge to post your results on Instagram. So I want you guys to go out there, practice how to draw bodies, and participate in the challenge. Also, anybody who does participate, you will get the chance to be featured in the next video that I do regarding the results of this, and you'll also have a chance to be featured on my story. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, the link is down below. It takes like 2 clicks. Come on, guys. And I will see you guys in next week's video. I hope you have fun. I hope this is helpful. If you are still here and you're one of the MVPs of my channel, comment down below Rainbow Sketchbook if you're still sticking out this far. But that's all I have for you guys. Enjoy the music. Bye.